Sometimes just a few small changes can render some really big results. And I just came in from watering my plants. I got off work not too long ago, and I was getting ready to embark upon my next project that I was going to be working on. I ran across this post on Facebook or Instagram where they take your old t-shirts and jerseys and things and make a blanket out of it. Both of my children played various sports as they came up. They both played college sports. So I have a ton of mom shirts and shirts from that part of era of their lives. So I was in the process of sorting through those shirts, trying to pick the ones that I'm going to use for my blanket. At first I thought I was going to do one for each of them. But, these kids don't take care of anything. They don't love all the things that we love. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to make myself a throw or a blanket to hold on to those memories. And, they can fight over it when I'm gone. They probably don't care. They'll probably throw it in the ground with me. But that's neither here nor there. Bad, guys. I had a little cough. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. And I have to go over some blood work with my doctor. And she suggested some small changes about 3 months ago that I do that she thought would make a really big difference and keep me from, having to take cholesterol medicine. And I'm making a move to get off of the weight loss medication that I'm currently taking, as well as my blood pressure medicine. And there are just a few small changes that I've made that I think all of you could benefit from before I jump on these shirts and spend all evening trying to decide which ones will be perfect enough for this blanket. That first change is exercise. And I'm going to tell you guys, I have been adverse to exercise. I used to work out all the time. And now I just don't have the motivation to do it. However, I do know that that is going to be a requirement. I am going to have to exercise. There's just no way around it. And so she just suggested maybe a brisk walk 3 or 4 times a day for 30 or 45 minutes, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, as well as a push-up challenge that they're having in a doctor's office. And when you say push-up challenge, I know everybody's going, not me. I personally can't do any push-ups, but she suggested the challenge is to be able to do 12 full push-ups at my annual exam next year. Now that's a long ways off because I just had that probably in June. So that's a long ways off. So your girl ought to be able to accomplish 12 push-ups. And the way you start is you start with some simple wall push-ups. And then you can do push-ups on your knees. And then eventually you should be able to do 12 full push-ups. Because the goal is to at least be able to move your body weight, or to at least be able to lift your body weight. Now she is going to be pushing me a little bit further to do some other things, as time progresses. But that's where we're starting. We're starting with the brisk walk and the 12 push-ups. And I do believe I can handle that. I am going to challenge myself to do it, and I'm going to challenge you guys to do it with me, because as much as we don't want to exercise, and I hope, the comments and messages that I've got in my previous weight loss videos, most of my season gang is already working out. So I'm behind you guys. So if you guys will just encourage me to do what I need to do, I would so greatly appreciate that. The next small change that we absolutely have to do is that we got to put that phone down. We have got to put the phone down. And when I say put the phone down, I mean I got to put it down for my mental health. Man, some of these headlines and some of the things that's going on in the world is just really too much. It is just simply too much. And your mind gets to wandering, and you get to worrying about things that you don't have any control over. And then you don't get to pay attention to the people that are actually around you. We need to put that phone down and, give our mental health a break. All that mindless scrolling, we think it doesn't matter. We think, it's no big deal. It's a form of entertainment. But I was scrolling on TikTok, and I found out that one of my favorite TikTokers that was battling cancer passed away. So, that made me a little bit sad. Never met this person, but they were always so full of life and having such a good time on TikTok. And now she's no longer with us. My favorite coach and football player, Deion Sanders, has gone through this terrible, bout with cancer. And then we're not even going to talk about all the relationship gurus and all the BS that's going on these podcasts and things of that nature. And again, I talked to you guys about it in the previous video. I am relinquishing the need to be in control or to know everything about everybody. So I'm going to challenge myself to put that phone down. I'm going to put my phone down. I work from home most days. A couple days I'm in the office, and I'm listening to podcasts while I'm in the office and while I'm sitting at my desk. And when I get my report at the end of the week, I am spending more than 10 hours a day on that phone. And that's just insane. And I don't think anything good is coming from it. Yeah, I want you guys to watch my videos. I want you to watch, videos. I want you to do uplifting things and things that make you happy and that do entertain you. But all the doom and gloom and all the things that are going on in the world, I think we can avoid some of that. And we need to spend some time talking to the real people in our lives. I know we're older. Most of us are empty nesters and we don't have a lot of people to talk to. But there are a lot of people that I could pick up the phone and call and check on and see how they doing and, kiki and laugh with some of those people instead of spending all this time online with people I don't know. So I am going to challenge myself to simply put the phone down for at least an hour and a half a day. I'm going to, stay a little bit more focused on my work. My house is quiet when I'm working from home, so I have the my iPad going just for noise, but I think I'm going to resort to watching some of my funny movies to help the time pass, because it's just noise in the background. I know what's going to happen, so I'm not actually watching it anyway, and just get off of it. Give myself a break from some of the screen time, because believe it or not, it does impact your mental health. It may impact your physical health too if these things stress you out too much. So put the phone down. And the last thing that I'm going to challenge you guys to do, and this is not one that I have any trouble with, but I thought it would be something good to do. I was talking to my doctor about it, and I am a ray of sunshine most of the time, and I can strike up a conversation and talk to anybody. And I want to challenge you guys to, meet somebody new. Give somebody a compliment when you see them. Speak to a stranger. I live in Florida. I live on the Gulf Coast. I'm a Southern gal, and we speak to everybody. When you pass by, we wave. When we pass each other in the hallway, we nod. We acknowledge people. I speak to everybody. And when I'm at work on the days that I'm in the office, I always give compliments. And I try to give compliments to people that don't know me. If I walk by you and you smell good, I'm going to let you know. If I walk by you and, I like your tennis shoes or something you got going on, I'm going to let you know. I try to give compliments. And that brightens somebody's day. You don't know what people are carrying around. You don't know what's going on with them. And just a kind word can sometimes brighten their day. And that's kind of, what I want to do. Building connections is really important. And I think it's really important at this stage of our lives to build those strong connections. Even if you never see the person again, you want to have an opportunity to, say hello, give a compliment, connect with somebody. I was watching a podcast where this doctor, challenged people on the subway to hold a conversation with a stranger on their way to work. And nobody wanted to do it. Nobody wanted to do it, especially people upstate. They don't want to talk to people. But he challenged them to do it. And they realized that when they got to work, they had a much better day. They struck up a conversation with a stranger. It took their minds off of whatever, was on their minds when they were on their way to work. And it made a difference. It made a difference in their day. And I think building connections is really, really important. Even with strangers. Like I said, even if you never see the person again, say hello. You may just, brighten somebody's day. That was Dr. Robert Waldinger, I think I saw on that podcast, where he challenged people to do that. So I'm challenging you today. Give someone a compliment. Say hello to a stranger. I don't think anybody has ever suffered from having a quick conversation or building a connection or a relationship. You never know. When I go into various places that I frequent all the time, I always strike up a conversation. I'm only in the office 2 days a week, but I go through the same lady line to pay for my food, and I always chat with her. We have a conversation about whatever book I'm reading, because I typically take my book in the cafeteria with me, because that really is about the only time during the day that I have to read, and it's quiet and I'm uninterrupted. But we need to understand that, relationships determine how long we live and the quality of life that we have while we're living it. Relationships can be the number one predictor of health, happiness, and longevity. And so relationships are important. We were not meant to be on this earth alone. God wouldn't have put a billion people here if he meant for us to walk around with our heads down in our phones, not connecting with people and not talking to people. So I'm going to challenge you guys to try these 3 things. I have been doing it for the last 3 months. Like I said, I'm going back to the doctor tomorrow. I have been exercising. I have been doing my little 12 push-up challenge. Bless my heart, I'm not up to one real one yet, but I am doing the wall push-ups every night. And I am doing the push-ups on my knees every night. I am walking 2 or 3 times a week. I walk with my little niece, so I have to keep up with her. We are walking, 3 or 4 nights. I'm in Florida and it's hot, but I'm still getting out there. It's humid, even when the sun goes down, but I'm still getting out there, doing my walk. I am still working on putting my phone down. I did find a very nice little basket when I was doing the cleanup of my room and my bathroom the other day. So I'm going to challenge myself that when I come home from work, instead of putting on another podcast or listening to something else, I'm going to plop my phone in that basket and I'm going to go on about whatever I had planned to do. And I am not going to scroll before I go to bed. Typically, I will scroll until the phone falls in my face and I nod off. But I'm going to stop doing that because a lot of times that's when I see the things that I don't really want to see. And I go to sleep with that on my mind. And I just don't want to do that. I want to have a restful night's sleep without having to worry about, what else is going on in the world. And I am a natural chatty Cathy. I talk to everybody. If you sit by me, you're going to have a conversation whether you want to or not. I believe in giving compliments. Relationships are the reason I started this YouTube channel because I want to have a relationship with you guys. I want a relationship with my season gang, and I want to get to a point where we do meet and greets and maybe take trips and, go live and do all kind of things together. Building relationships is the reason that I'm here. That's why I'm talking to you guys because, like I said, I'm an empty nester. I don't always have somebody in the house to talk to. Now, I do have a big family, and people are in and out of here, even though my children no longer live here. I see my nieces almost every day. I check on my mom. Her neighbor across the street is almost always on the porch with her. So I do have conversations. I do talk to people on a daily basis, and I talk to people when I'm in the office. But I can remember a time, during the pandemic that I didn't even leave the house. And the only people I saw were my nieces that were pretty much here with me because we didn't want to run the risk of making my mom sick because I did go into the office at least one day a week during that time, notarizing documents and things of that nature. So we are going to live the best lives that we have left. And we're going to exercise a little bit. We're not going to CrossFit and, do insanity with Shanti or any of that stuff. But we are going to exercise. We're going to walk. We're going to, get our hearts rates pumping and, try to stay away from these medications. We're going to put those phones down because we have to protect our mental health at all costs. And we are going to build relationships, even if they're short-term relationships. Little mini chats is what we're going to do. Those 3 things I think will make a difference in, our happiness, our healthiness, and us living long, prosperous lives. So I'm going to get on going through these shirts. This stack over here is just Jordan shirts from Little League to college. He's got jerseys and everything mixed up in there. I still got Shani's in the closet, not to mention all the mom shirts that I have. So this is a project that I'm going to be on for a little while. But I am in the mood for projects, and I'm going to flop down on my floor and have a conversation with you guys whenever something comes to mind. So until the next time, the seasoned lady is signing off. I hope each and every one of you have a fabulous evening. Don't forget to turn your notifications on so you don't miss anything that we chatting about. Talk to you soon. Toodles.